Paul Griffiths, CEO of Dubai Airports.
Tell me, how does it feel to be back here, people gathering from the travel industry, and then of course the airports?
It's absolutely wonderful to see people in three dimensions again. I think we've all got video conferencing fatigue, and let's face it, there are certain things you can only do in person. Read body language, negotiate, establish a relationship. They can only be done in person, and that's very good for travel and tourism.
So this is sort of like a rebound now for the traveling industry. How does it affect airports like the one in Dubai?
Well, very fortunately, the downturn, although it was extended for a period, is followed by an equally strong upswing. And we're now back in Dubai to something like 70% of the pre-pandemic travel. And in fact, we're anticipating by the end of the year to exceed our current forecast of about 59 million travelers. So actually, the future's looking very bright.
What's the situation like in Dubai? I mean, Dubai has been the number one in terms of tourist visits and so on and so forth. You guys have been very ready in terms of combating COVID-19. How is it going so far now that I think the pandemic is going away now, hopefully?
Well, very, very fortunately, the Dubai government took a number of very bold steps. It pursued a very active vaccination program and got to incredibly high levels of vaccination penetration throughout the population, the highest in the world. We did have an initial lockdown period, but it was very short. We reopened in July 2020 for tourism, and actually I think because of the bold steps to reassure the travelling public across the world that Dubai is an incredibly attractive and safe place to be, the traveller numbers have been absolutely excellent. So we've rebounded quicker, we've retained our crown for the 8th successive year as the world's busiest international airport, a fact that I'm incredibly proud of. And actually, I think both our actions before the downturn and our actions in the upturn, I think have been pretty world class. And I'm very, very proud of all the staff who've rallied round to make the recovery so quick and so possible.
Here at the WTTC, they've been talking about the global pass and so on and so forth. Where do you see that technology, digitalization, in terms of the uptake for this tourism industry?
I think there's three things. First of all, we all want the same thing. We all want a consolidated method of validating the ability to travel. And the only disappointment is that the second part, the technology, is relatively easy to achieve, but unfortunately there's a whole host of different solutions. We need time to take its natural course and to consolidate down to one single solution, and then we need the powerful lobbying efforts of WTTC to create an acceptance amongst all the government authorities around the world that that single solution to validate travel to be safe and secure for the public all over the world is acceptable as an outcome. So there's a bit of a job to be done, but the technology is there, the desire is there, we just need the methodology to achieve it.
You've mentioned in the panel that there are about 90,000 employees. Also here at WTTC, they say that the numbers are going to increase in terms of employment. Is that going to be the same happening in Dubai as well?
I think so. Obviously, we're going to concentrate on getting the back office elements of our operation seamless, and we want to remove all of the customer-facing bureaucracy from the view of our travelling public. And I think actually freeing people up to do what they're best at, and that's creating that rapport with the customer. That's what customers want, and that's what our staff should be equipped to deal with. So I think employment will increase. It's a huge proportion of the total people in Dubai employed in the travel and tourism industry, and we believe that's going to continue to be successful.
That's a great story, though. Although Ramadan is fast finishing now, Eid is coming up. What are the preparations for the Dubai airports you guys been doing?
Well, actually, we're taking one runway out of service at the end of April to refurbish it for 45 days. But that will require a bit of a reduction in capacity, a few flights moved to our new airport, Dubai World Central. But overall, actually, the difference between low season and high season seems to be disappearing. Dubai is actually proving an incredibly popular destination around the world and all through the year.
I guess my last question would be, what's the best takeaway that you're going to have here at WTTC?
Best?
The best takeaway so far. What's the takeaway that you're going to get?
I think the best takeaway is I think that everyone has understood the power, the social and economic power of travel and tourism, the $1 trillion contribution it makes to the global economy, the 333 million jobs around the world. That's incredibly important. What we've now got to do is get our share of voice to equal proportion amongst governments around the world to make sure the impact that travel and tourism has on the global economy is properly recognised, and we're given the breaks and the development we need to be able to move forward.
Thank you very much, Paul. It's always good to see you here at WTTC for the second time.
Great to be here. Thank you.